Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. How's everybody doing? Well, we're going to take a look at the weather here. Thanks for joining me for MeteoMark's weather here. Yeah, we're going to be looking at a severe weather potential here, especially in this area during the day and evening hours and into the overnight Friday into Friday night. And yes, we're going to be looking at another trough kicking here across the lakes and the Northeast just in time for the first part of your weekend. We'll see how just long that lasts, whether that's going to kick out of the area, and we'll take a look at your overall weather pattern. We're also going to take a look at the tropics. Yes, I do have my Hurricane 2023 outlook. Link in the description down below at the end of this video as well if you haven't caught that. Don't forget to smash that like button, question or comment down below, share the video with all your friends and family. Let's get into it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already with the bell notification. What is this along the southeast coast? We'll take a look at that as well. And what is going on with our upper air pattern here? Ridge trough, ridge trough, ridge trough in the northeast. Look at that. But look at next week. We have the chance of a major ridge. Could this be building in just in time for Memorial Day weekend? But what is this towards the southeast? And what could possibly be brewing along the east coast just in time for your Memorial Day weekend? Is this some subtropical system or is this a coastal low? We'll take a look at the details and the probability that this may spoil your Memorial Day plans. So our trouble areas here exist across Texas, all the way through the mid-Mississippi River Valley for your Friday. A good likelihood of damaging wind, large hail, and isolated tornadoes. That extends up into the Ohio Valley for later Friday night. We may see a stray gusty thunderstorm, wind gusts up to 50 to 60 miles per hour. It's not going to be a widespread event. And then we get along the U.S. East Coast here. Could something be brewing? Maybe subtropical or a coastal low for Memorial Day weekend? We'll take a look at that, and something may just be brewing in the tropics for next week. But before we get more into that, here is a quick special announcement. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. All right, so severe weather for your Friday. We are looking at a slight risk from San Antonio, Dallas-Fort Worth, all the way up to Little Rock here. I do believe this area should be expanded a little bit. I think there's a lot of dynamics here. I do think this area in particular, especially this area over later on in the evening, over to Friday night, I do think this area will probably be upgraded to enhanced risk. So let's get into the reasons why. And day 3, this system is weakening. We still may have a scattered strong thunderstorm, severe from Louisiana all the way over towards Georgia here. So here's our latest SIGTOR parameter. We're going to look, especially during the day on Friday. You know, it doesn't look all that impressive here. This is kind of interesting to see. I mean, we may have some areas here, some scattered areas, but you see this white zone. This is like a range of 0.7 to 1. So, you know, tornadoes probably aren't looking... We're not having as much vertical wind shear here. The damaging straight line winds are going to be the main concern. So our CAPE here, convective available potential energy. It's going to explode on Friday evening, particularly around 9 p.m. You see values in the orange near 3,500 joules per kilogram and the red near 4,000. That is plenty. And we'll have that up all the way up into the Ohio Valley, upwards of 500 to 1,000 joules per kilogram. That moves to the Gulf Coast central areas for your Saturday. All right, so we start off with your future HRRR radar here. So yeah, we're going to go right on into overnight Thursday into Friday here. So as you can see, yeah, we got some big time thunderstorms that are going to be knocking on the door here to the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma here, as well as western part of Kansas. So those are going to be ejecting out of Colorado here. And look at as we go throughout the morning hours. Yeah, this is any boundaries that set up to the south here are going to be, outflow boundaries from these thunderstorms, and it's going to be really interesting to watch that unfold. Now, take a look here. This could be, start of our little coastal energy here. It's not going to be a full-blown nor'easter coastal, but we do have to watch this. So let's put this into play here and see what we got going on. So we go 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Friday, 12 p.m., noon, and look at that. You can see the energy just moving right up the coastline here. So we're going to bring some rains here to the Outer Banks, parts of eastern North Carolina, and you start to see some thunderstorms start to fire in this region right here. So let's continue to follow this north. You're going to have some scattered showers and thunderstorms up through the Ohio Valley here into parts of the Northeast as well. So let's continue to put this into motion here. We're going to see how this unfolds. So there we have it. Yeah, there's that energy off the coast. And here is our big-time thunderstorms. Starting off, particularly, the highest possibility here is Northeast Texas, parts of extreme southeastern part of Oklahoma, and into southwestern Arkansas. This is by 7 p.m. This is the top prime time here, as we call it, for thunderstorms. You will be getting some gully washers here over in Florida as well. They're not going to be severe. And then the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And look at this, up here in parts of Ohio, these thunderstorms will be a little more benign, not damaging, to say the least. So let's continue to progress this timeline as we do. Look at this. This is 9 p.m. We're really looking at a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity. And some of these kind of look ominous, like supercell thunderstorms here. Those are going to continue to move towards the southeast here. As we go in time, let's take a look and see how this unfolds. So there it is, midnight, 1 a.m. on Friday night. So look what's happening up here in the Ohio Valley. So these become a little more linear here across the south. We still will be seeing severe weather in parts of Texas and some flash flooding, but look up through Mississippi River Valley and the Ohio River Valley. Let's just go back a couple frames. So look at this. This looks pretty ominous heading on into the Cleveland area. So yeah, we don't have you in that severe outlook, but some of these storms may contain damaging wind gusts and some small hail. So definitely going to keep an eye on that. That's by 10 p.m. on Friday evening. And there's our piece of energy off the East Coast. Let's continue to go in time here. Look at this, how this unfolds. This is a pretty vigorous system. You can pretty much denote here where the cold front is, and severe weather ongoing here, as well as parts of the mid-Mississippi River Valley. These storms up here are not going to be much severe, but you will get some beneficial rains out of them. So watch out for that as we go overnight Friday night. And let's continue to go in time here. You can see 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and there's 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. So it's clearing out here across Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas, except just east of Little Rock. Look at these big-time thunderstorms across northern Alabama, all the way up the Ohio Valley into western New York and western Pennsylvania. These will be on the weakening trend, though. It's going to be running into some dry air here, particularly in this region of New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. So let's continue to go in time here. Let's see what's going to unfold. So yeah, we might have some gusty thunderstorms here in the parts of the Northeast. You can see this line here. Might have wind gusts to 45 miles per hour, small hail potential here. And you can see the energy up the East Coast just riding up here. Look at this, bringing some showers and some thunder showers here to the Northeast. Let's continue to watch this unfold. Texas is drying out by this point. That's great news. But look at up here into the Northeast. There's our last frame, 2 p.m. Saturday. Look what's going on here. So along and ahead of this front, you're going to have to watch out for some gusty thunderstorms here. So showers and thunderstorms will be likely here across the Northeast. We'll get into exactly those rainfall amounts. And then you can see some of these storms here across the south. Let's get our pencil here. Might become pretty frisky. Your quick synoptic view before we get into the European run here. You can see it if we head into the weekend. There's that little piece of energy. It's going to show up on the European as well. There's that frontal boundary coming in from the west. Let's take a look and go out in time, see what the trends hold here. So as we go into Saturday and then Saturday night into Sunday, that pretty much clears out of the Northeast for the most part. You can see things clearing out by later in the weekend, and we set ourselves up for this kind of like stalled out frontal boundary. We're going to have to watch these areas for tropical development here, and I'm going to have this in my tropical update a little bit later in the video. If you want to skip ahead to that, you're more than welcome to. There's timestamps down below. But take a look at this. Yeah, this is quite interesting to say the least. Look at this. This kind of dances around. This is the 25th. we could be looking at something here as well. So, and look at, there's another piece of a stalled out front. This time of year, I think it is pretty ripe to have some sort of subtropical or tropical system here. And look at this. This just persists. This is the 26th, 27th, 28th. Look how it just pinwheels up the coast here. We could be looking at something here. This is something to definitely keep an eye on. You can see here's our North American view. So yeah, the Western Atlantic here, I think we're up for some active start here to tropical season. So let's take a look at your European model run here. So as we flip through here the week, well, let's actually start with your Friday. There's those big thunderstorm complexes developing here across the southern plains. We'll watch this entire area unfold as we go through Friday Eve to look at that. It is definitely going to be a little bit more linear here, especially on the European model. Less tornado action, more damaging wind, and some tremendous hail as well. But look at here, as we head into the Ohio Valley in the northeast, there's that area of rain stretching and propagating towards the east. And look at that. Let me back that up just a few frames. Did you see that? This is that little piece of energy. It's not an actual coastal low, but it's energy coming up along the coast that'll help provide and enhance the rainfall up here into New England later Saturday afternoon and evening, and even into the overnight hours of Saturday night into Sunday morning. And look at that, moves to the northeast. So Maine, you're going to have a pretty rainy start here. But look at that, moves up towards the northeast pretty rapidly here. You see that area, that trough on the east edge of this big old high. And we're really going to have, this return flow out here in the plains. So things are really going to start to warm up. You can see some shower and thunderstorm activity as well as we continue to go in time. And look at that, high pressure builds in across the east. What is this? Yeah, there's some sort of low stuck out here across Florida that we weren't really seeing on the other models. This is Monday. So this is something we're definitely going to have to watch. Is this something that's going to become subtropical, or we'll just watch it because it's really kind of persistent here on the European model in particular. I saw it a bit on the GFS, but the European model's really holding on to some easterly flow here. Here's a low pressure out here in the Atlantic, high pressure kicking that out to sea. So yeah, we'll watch Florida here for the potential of some maybe potential kind of development here. It kind of hangs out. You really have to look at this. This is Thursday of next week. You really have to keep an eye on this. This may be the beginnings of what maybe the GFS is picking up on in terms of some sort of coastal. Now, let's see if the European catches on to this. So here we go. We're still dealing with the same area of low pressure here across Florida. This is actually pretty interesting here on the European run. And look at that. It kind of just hangs out and it starts to inch towards the north. But you see on the European model is very optimistic for much of the northeast and mid-Atlantic here, keeping a double barrel high in place. So let's take a look at your total liquid equivalent precipitation. This takes us through the weekend to start out. Look at this. Yeah, this is with our developing coastal piece of energy. Can't even call it a coastal low because it's so weak, but it's going to provide 1, 2, maybe as much as 4 inches of rain, especially in parts of South Carolina and eastern North Carolina. Out here into parts of the southern plains, you're not going to have too many flooding problems, only isolated areas because, these thunderstorms will be linear and moving very fast. And up here into the northeast and Ohio Valley, you'll see an area of up to 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of rainfall. Let's zoom in. So as we take a look at the northeast here, look at this. So this takes us through Sunday. So this takes us through the whole weekend. So Friday night to Sunday. Look at this. Cleveland up to just over 3/4 of an inch. Erie towards an inch. And then we get up towards the eastern Lake Ontario region over an inch. Then you get towards the Susquehanna Valley, the eastern Catskills, Poconos, and you're barely getting 1/4 of an inch here. And then over towards the Hudson Valley, anywhere from 1/2 to almost 3/4 of an inch, except there's a little rain shadow near Albany. And look at parts of southeastern New England with that little piece of coastal energy. You could be seeing upwards of 1.5 inches in some of these areas. All right, so let's head out with the CFS. Always great to watch how this unfolds. So we head towards Memorial Day, pretty much in agreement with the other two models, the other main GFS and the European model. Look, as we head into June, though, my concern is we get a trend, after Memorial Day week, this big old trough, and we start to get a lot of blocking up in Greenland. Just as many of you are wanting summertime, look what starts to blow up and hang out across the east. This is towards June 10th. I was a little afraid this was actually going to happen, but it is. It looks like, the CFS really catching on to this pattern, and you can see successive run after run by the 19th of June shows this persistent troughiness across the U.S. East Coast. But there may be, just as I was thinking as we approach late June, early July, a pattern reversal. You see this big trough out west. We'll have to see if that holds on. So here we go across the Atlantic. How's everybody doing down in the Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, and out here across the Caribbean islands in Central America? Let's take a look and see if we got any interesting things going on. There is something interesting here. What are the chances that this could develop? Well, I'm going to keep an eye on it here because this may actually produce some sort of subtropical storm. If we get a timestamp on this, this is actually towards May 20th, right around 5 p.m. So, yeah, we're going to watch that, and we'll actually see if, the GFS picks up on that Florida system there that the European was. Look at that. That is, I think this has a really good chance of becoming some sort of subtropical system just north of Puerto Rico here by the 21st of May. Intertropical convergence zone looks a little quiet out here. We have a little system, but, that's pretty much fizzling out at this point. But the big story here is going to be right in the center of the Atlantic there. Look at how persistent, but look what starts to happen there along the East Coast. There's that second reflaring up going on. So it's kind of picking up maybe on what the European model is here, only a little bit further to the north. There may be something going on here as well. So please stay tuned as we approach Memorial Day weekend here. We may be looking at some sort of subtropical storm, maybe even tropical storm here, maybe even along the U.S. East Coast. So please stay tuned. It is looking interesting. I'll keep an eye on it here. So what do we got out here? We have our tropical cyclone Fabien. It is on the out, though. It is weakening very quickly here. And you can see as we go during the next several days, this is basically going to be a fish storm as we head through the 20th, 21st. You see it's actually not moving much. It's just going to bounce around. There is not many steering currents. And look at this. By the 26th, it's way down here into the, it's pretty much just east of Africa by this point. So yeah, take a look at this as we get to the Western Pacific. We have an area that is of great concern that the models have really been picking up on. We're going to start here at the 19th on Friday. So it has to do with this area in particular here across the Western Pacific. Take a look at this. As we continue in time, you can see some showers over towards the southern Philippines as well. That's going to really start to fill in. But look at this. By the weekend, we could potentially have maybe a named storm out of this. We're going to keep an eye on it here because the models have been really trending with this system. Look at this. So yeah, it doesn't look at it as impressive as it was the other day, but look at this. It's still a pretty impressive system, and it does look like it has some tropical characteristics here. Will it be affecting some island chains out here into the Pacific? And look at how this really starts to blossom by the 25th. So here it is in respect to the Philippines and Japan. So the Philippines, it looks like as days go by here, this thing is going to move well off to your northeast. You're going to get some monsoon type showers here. Look at up here towards China and Vietnam. It's very dry until you get to southern portion of Vietnam, and there is where you get some showers and thunderstorms. But here is Japan up here. We're going to be approaching our rainy season as June approaches. Japan gets a lot of rain during this time, and look what is basically staring Japan right down here on the 26th at 5 a.m. Yeah, this could be a pretty sizable typhoon for this time of year. It does start to look a bit extra tropical. The sea surface temperatures are not all that conducive to support such a very large typhoon, and you can see it kind of just spins towards the west and then takes a jaunt off towards the northeast here. So definitely maybe some effects here in Japan, gusty winds, but it looks like it becomes very extra tropical in nature by the 29th. But look at this. I'm going to rewind this here across the Philippines because things are really going to start getting busy here as well. This is towards the 28th, 29th. Look at this. We may have a tropical system here between China mainland and the Philippines as well. And if that weren't enough, we actually have a system here to the east as well that we're going to be keeping an eye on. This is a pretty big area of concern. This is a week and a half away, So please stay tuned. This could greatly change, but look at this. These persistent showers and thunderstorms could lead us to a pretty kickoff start here to the typhoon season in the Western Pacific. And here we go, a photo from John from, look at this, Manchester, Yorkshire, motorway near Dormitory Road, Huddersfield, UK, M62. Take a look at that. Sunny and 10 degrees Celsius. So yeah, it's a little colder than it looks in the photo, but there it is. I mean, we're slowly pushing towards summertime here. So nice capture there, John, getting out there on the open, nice, beautiful road here and some beautiful blue skies. You can't beat that. All right, so let's take a look at your Friday temperatures here. Cooler up here across the western lakes and the upper Midwest, but look at this warm air streaming north ahead of this system, getting well into the 70s into the northeast, 80s and 90s down south. As we get into your Saturday, you get a little cooler shot as we get some showers, thunderstorms in the northeast, but look at these 80s and 90s bubbling up across the south and out west as well. As we get into Sunday, take a look at this. 70s pushing to the north as well, 90s out west here, 90s across the southeast. You're just looking summer-like here. And as we get into your Monday, let's take a look at this. Yeah, look at this big old heat wave across the central states. Will this head east? Let's head throughout the week, and we'll see just how far to the east this makes it. Look at, you're approaching 80 into parts of the northeast here. By Wednesday, take a look at that. That's not too bad. So yeah, we're going to slowly build this heat eastward as we head towards Memorial Day weekend. Extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton. Friday, a beautiful sunny day, 76. One of your warmest days. Saturday, yeah, Saturday morning, particularly in the afternoon though. Showers and then showers and thunderstorms again in the afternoon. Particularly after 3 or 4 p.m., we'll get maybe a thunderstorm. Nothing severe, maybe upwards of 45-mile-per-hour gusts. But yeah, the front will come through. It won't feel like much of a front. Sunny on Sunday, 75, 72 for your Monday and Tuesday. Beautiful sleeping weather, though, into the 40s. Thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. As always, I just want to make you aware of my new affiliate, Trilogy Maps. I use their maps every day. I just love them. They are high performance, high resolution. The layering system can't be beat. And I just wanted to say, when you do go to their website, and I have the link down below, and you use my code MeteoMark, that gives you 20% off. That's the only way you can get 20% off. Use the code MeteoMark. It does open up me eligible for a commission based off that, but there's no additional money being made in that way. So I just wanted to disclose that to you. It's a product I truly believe in. If you love maps, making weather maps, or you're into maps with data on them, I mean, this is a great mapping system for you. It works wonderful. I've been trying it with Photoshop and it works wonderful. So don't forget to try out my Hurricane 2023 outlook, a link in the description down below. Also, it's a link ahead of you on the screen as well. This is an outlook I came out with last week, so check it out if you haven't already. The entire Hurricane 2023 season, my take on it. Also, Facebook at MeteoMark. Also at Weather Eastern and Hurricane Northeastern, and Twitter at Weather Eastern. Thanks for joining me.